Hey soldier, let's get right tonight.
Here I go, scream my lungs out and try to get to you. You are my only one. I let go, but there's just no one that gets me like you do. You are my only one.
What is good, guys? We are back and better than ever. Welcome to the solgr-and-fusha-only-show. This is Soldier Only.
With Fuchsia Only as well, here on our first podcast of 2017. We've been slacking, but we're back.
Yes, and we're actually recording this on a different night than we usually do. We're still planning on doing it on Sundays, just like we did last year. We just kind of went over a little bit on our... Right, I know, huh? We went over a little bit on our holiday break, trying to have been slowly getting back into the swing of things, and we were finally able to record our, like she said, our first episode of 2017.
We just had to let the holidays blow over and everything else, but like I said, we're back and with a lot of new fun and exciting things going on this year.
This is going to be a huge year. Yeah, this is going to be a huge year. Yeah, so obviously what we're going to do with this being the first episode, we're going to take a look back at the year that was 2016 and also look ahead at 2017. Of course, last year was our first year of Sports Nerd Web's first year in existence. We've actually only been, creating content for 3 months, something like that. So,
which I bet you anything is probably the only good thing that came out of 2016 because it was just anticipated the worst year. So, we're here with a new fresh start of 2017.
Well, the beginning of last year was bad.
True.
But from the summer on was good.
Yeah.
And it just kept getting better and better and better, and then by the time the end of 2016, it was amazing. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, you're talking about all the famous people we lost this year, and 2016 was an awful year too. If you go by that extent. Of course, I was talking about us personally. I wasn't talking about the world in general.
No, but another thing that happened in 2016, which was incredible, was the engagement.
Exactly, September 24th to be exact.
Good things still do come.
Yes.
All right. Well, anyways, now that I sidetracked you, go back to what you were saying.
Well, so what we'll do, like I said, we're going to take a look back on some of our favorite games and movies, TV shows, stuff like that from 2016, and then we'll also look ahead. So let's start with movies.
Movies. Yes.
We didn't really see a lot of movies last year, like going to the theater wise. We did go see
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad,
which was really good. That was what our very first podcast was ever about. Our review on Suicide Squad. Which, we can't say too much because we still need to see Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we still didn't see that. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, we didn't see that. What other movie did we go see in the theater? I want to say we saw something else as well, too, but... Deadpool. We did go see Deadpool.
That's right. Yeah, we did. It was Deadpool.
I want to say there's something else. Deadpool wasn't the one I was thinking of, but I just remember Deadpool, though.
Because I remember when we went to go see Deadpool, I had won the tickets at work. Movie
that's
tickets
right,
for how much overtime I was doing back then.
Yeah, that's how we went. Yeah, Deadpool was really good.
It was a comedy that we saw.
I think it was. I don't think it was like a comic book movie or anything.
It might have been Ted 2.
Ted 2, I was just going to say, or was that 2015? No, it would have been 16 probably. At the beginning of the year, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Could have been Ted 2, yeah.
A thought to ponder.
But yeah, kind of like comic book movie-wise, it was Deadpool and Suicide Squad. Both were really good. If I had to pick one over the other, I would probably say I like Deadpool more.
Yes, I really enjoyed Deadpool. The only thing I didn't realize that was pointed out to me at a later time was that they didn't really go over schizophrenia too much. But
I was telling you about that. They didn't. But
I understand why they didn't, and it's that there's just already so much going on. But... Well,
something about the comics, though, is that he doesn't really develop it until later on in the comics, and the movie... the movie was pretty much kind of like an origin story too, you know? Like,
and there was a 5-minute clip at the end.
In a weird way, because at the beginning he was already Deadpool, right?
Right.
And then he tells it as a flashback to how he became that way.
True.
So in essence, it is kind of an origin story. It does flashback to his origin.
You know what
So.
other one we came out in 2016 that we didn't see in theater, but we did see, was Captain America Civil War.
That did come out in 16?
Yeah, that was 2016.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Civil War was good.
It was really good. I could not believe that twist at the end. Spoilers, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, don't
but
say it.
Spoilers.
Yes, River Sound.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Not in this show. This isn't a spoiler cast.
Yes, not in the... Yeah, it's our Talking Decay that is a spoiler cast.
Yes,
but
our Walking
still,
Dead podcast obviously is a spoiler
which
cast.
comes
but
back next month. Anyways.
yeah, that is going to be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the beginning of February, isn't it? Still the beginning of February, I think?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait till we get that back. So yeah, movie-wise, let's just kind of look ahead into 2017. Let's look at some... Okay, yeah, real quick. Wait, Batman vs. Superman. Did we see that in the theater?
No, we didn't. We bought that one on DVD, and we had watched it.
The first time we saw it?
Yeah, because that's the one I went to the theater with my mom.
You saw it, and
Yeah.
That's right, okay.
And so we had bought that and seen that right before Suicide Squad, which I am so thankful we did. It's not too big of a spoiler, but it's kind of like a continuation. In a way, they're connected. Mm-hmm. Without spoiling anything. So
yeah, Batman v Superman was really good.
That made me love Batman even more than I already do. I've always kind of leaned more towards Batman than I have Superman.
So now real quick before we move on to 2017, out of those movies, what ones was your favorite of the year then?
Ooh, I don't know, because I was really impressed with Ben Affleck in Batman vs Superman.
I was too, and you know more than anybody of how worried I was about Batfleck.
Oh God, I know, yeah, and he
did it amazing though.
That's a tough call. I would say it's either a toss up between
I don't know.
Batman vs Superman.
To me, it's coming between that and Deadpool.
I really enjoyed Deadpool too. I don't know. They're all so good because they're just I like.
They're also kind of two totally different things, you know.
Yeah, like
Deadpool's a totally different like comic character, you know. So
exactly yeah.
They're
I
both
like them
really
all.
good.
It's just it's just hard for me to say because I am a huge movie geek. I love all kinds of movies, old movies, comedies, and
me
everything else. I mean, each one had a better aspect than the other. With Batman vs Superman, I was impressed by Batfleck. With Captain America: Civil War, I was shocked by the reveal of what happens in that movie. Then Deadpool is just hilarious and good comedy, and
they're all good in their own things because you have Deadpool, who it's a movie about one superhero, you know. Then you have Batman versus Superman, when two of them fighting each other, and then you have Civil War, which is a huge group of superhero characters fighting each other.
Yeah. And then Suicide Squad is just all the bad guys going after.
Yeah, and so it was an interesting year, you know. As part, what I liked is that what was good, I think, about 2016 is that we were seeing DC's cinematic universe really kick off.
Yes, I
because obviously
that.
Marvel's has been going on for a couple years now, so we finally got to see DC's kick off, and we're going to be getting into it here when we start looking at movies for next year. You know, we're going to have. Wonder Woman, Justice League is in 2017. If I remember right, Aquaman I don't think is until 2018.
Nope. Aquaman is not quite yet.
What about Flash though? When's the Flash standalone?
I don't know. I haven't actually seen anything on Flash, but I haven't seen it. Wonder Woman is actually going to be June 2nd of 2017.
That looks really good.
You know what I'm really excited for though? Like probably the most excited for over Wonder Woman? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yes.
I am Groot.
I know. Actually, it wasn't that long ago. They actually just came out with the first trailer, right?
Mm-hmm. A couple weeks ago. I've shared both of them on Facebook, and I cannot wait. That one is May 5th.
I love Raccoon. Raccoon is my favorite.
May the 4th be
Rocket Raccoon or whatever. Yeah, he's my favorite character in Guardians by far.
Yeah. I love Rocket and Groot. It's just the simplicity of all he says is "I am Groot," and in that context.
But I like how Rocket can understand him. Mm-hmm. He's that close to him. He knows him that well. Yeah. That he knows what he means. Like, he carries on conversations when all everyone else hears is "I'm Groot."
I'm really interested in the soundtrack to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 too, because the first one was good. Was so good. It brought back some classics, and it was just like put it mainstream. Incredible. I loved it.
Speaking of which, one thing that was announced not that long ago is that Telltale is going to be doing a series of Guardians of the Galaxy games. The studio behind the Walking Dead games. Telltale also recently started a Batman series. So, well, yeah, I think when the Guardians ones comes out, we need to get for you. You would absolutely love those games. Yeah. I know you would.
I do.
We'll definitely have to get you into that one.
I definitely trust your opinion in what you think would be good for me, because you hit the jackpot when you said I'd love Ratchet and Clank. It was just so incredible. Oh, you know what's actually coming out.
Yeah, when we get into video games, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll bring that one up later, because there is a Lego Batman movie coming out 2017 too.
Yeah, I just saw something about that. I never saw the first one though.
Yeah,
because that's actually, I don't know if they're actually treating that as like a true sequel, but they have made a Lego Batman movie before.
But then it's like, how many Spider-Mans have they made where some of them are sequels with the same person as Spider-Man, and then they redo it, and in each Spider-Man, Aunt May gets younger.
Right, in the Tobey Maguire ones, she was pretty up there.
Yeah, she was a much older lady.
And then in the Andrew Garfield or whatever? In those ones, she was slightly younger. It was what's her name? Sally Fields or whatever played her from Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, Sally Fields is her name. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah.
And then and now it's Marissa Tomei.
Yeah. See,
who played her in Civil War.
Yes. And that one, actually, Spider-Man gets his own homecoming movie July 7th. Year. Yeah, okay. July 7th of this year.
Okay, so June was Wonder Woman?
Yes, June is Wonder Woman.
The very next month, we have Spider-Man Homecoming.
Mm-hmm. And then also, there was one in November. What was it?
This is going to be such a busy year.
Yes, it is. I don't remember which one was in November. But
November, was that the Justice League? Or, wasn't that the Justice League one? I think it was.
Could have been Justice League. I think you're right. Yeah, you are right. November 17th is Justice League. So that one's November 17th. And then one that is not as per se what we've been talking about, but I cannot wait, that comes out actually next month, 2 months, is Beauty and the Beast. I'm excited to see how they turn that one around, because I actually really like how they're bringing back all these old animated Disney movies and turning them into live action.
A live action one, yeah.
They've been doing really good with these, and I'm really interested to see Emma Watson as Belle.
Yeah. I bet we'll go see that one. I wouldn't mind going to see that, because I'm like you just said, I'm interested in seeing it, how they do it too. I like it when they take pretty much what you just said. I like it when they take those animated classics that you've seen animated your whole life, and then then turn it into a live action.
I was so impressed with Jungle Book. I don't think you've seen it yet, but I watched it on Netflix, and I was blown away. I was surprised on how they did the animation of the animals and made it just look so real. And, most of it's, CGI, special effects.
Yeah, CGI, computer generated.
It's just, they did so incredible. And I remember watching The Jungle Book thinking, is this the same Jungle Book that I watched as a kid? It's been so long I didn't remember the full story. But watching it, it was a really good movie. It was good. I enjoyed it. So I've been impressed with what they've been doing, and, makes me happy to grow up in the time that I did, because a lot of young kids these days are only seeing the remakes and don't appreciate what they were when they first came out.
Right, I know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to be growing up, being a lot younger in this time. you know, because then you'd hear the older people talk about the classics, you know what I mean? Because then they don't know how it is.
Which is what I think is most incredible about the superhero movies, is you notice the crowd for the superhero movies is not only a younger audience, but a much broader, larger audience of young adults and
that's what I like about it. You're seeing a huge range of the demographic, of the age of the demographics.
Because a lot of the adults grew up with these comics, and now they're being remade into movies, or they're not even being remade, but being put into movies, and they're doing it so perfectly well that the kids are just, you know, they don't, some who have the right parents show how good they are, you know, to grow up with, and it's just cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, real quick, what I want to say, before we started recording, we were talking about this. Also coming up this next year, there's another Star Wars movie, right?
Yes, there is a Star Wars movie. It's Star Wars number 9.
Number 9 is what it would be, Episode 9.
Episode 9, and that one is actually coming out December 15th of 2017.
Okay, so if it's Episode 9, then it's going to be taking place even after... No, that's 8.
Yeah, it's Episode 8.
8. Yeah, that's Episode 8. So that'll even be taking place after, like, Force Awakens, which we still need to see.
Like you were saying, I am, like, we will catch up on the trilogy.
This is what I want to get into real quick, is I just kind of have to say this. My first impression, you know, just this impression that I have with what Disney's been doing with the Star Wars license so far is they've literally came out with one every year. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And to me, like, part of what made Star Wars so special growing up was the fact that they came out so far in between, you know? So when one was coming out, the hype that was built, you know, that was generated...
It was much more of an
event. It was crazy hype. Like, nothing... I mean, it was... Even to this day, like, the hype you would get, there's nothing like it. There's still never been anything like it. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know, to me, I mean, even though that the movies have gotten great reviews and, you know, the fans are happy and all that, which is great, yeah, but... I don't know, just that aspect of them coming out every single year, to me, it seems like it just kind of cheapens it to some extent. Just that aspect of it, of how special it felt when the new Star Wars came out. Like,
yeah, and it was much
it felt like you're a part of history, you know what I mean? Because the Star Wars films are historic, obviously, you know? So
I will admit it, I am not, well... I can't say I'm not proud, because at least I bought the 2 trilogies. Well, we bought the 2 trilogies, and we're going to have a Star Wars marathon so that I can get caught up, because most I am aware is the mainstream, obvious things that have been Star Wars, you know? It's just like...
Yeah, the stuff you hear everywhere.
Yeah, see, so it'll be nice to actually sit down and watch all of them, but... You're right. It's kind of like how Disney came out with so many Pirates of the Caribbean so fast, so quick. It's like, wait, which one is which? They're all good, but they're just, you know, it just, I don't know, kind of takes away from the suspense and waiting of what's it going to be. Oh, they finally came out with it. So I'm a little nervous for that, but I can't necessarily say too much because I need to... we need to have our movie night.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, even I have to kind of catch up to some extent, too, because it's been so long since I've even seen a lot of the Star Wars, but not only that, I still haven't seen even The Force Awakens, so, you know, we need to see that, and then obviously we need to see Rogue One. And
one other one that's coming out is probably the last one that's coming out in 2017 that we'll go over, but it's Thor.
Oh, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok is coming out. Which, I actually wonder, when are they going to be... Is it the Avengers Infinity Stone?
That's probably going to be 2018.
Yeah, because isn't Guardians of the Galaxy going to tie into that as well? Or am I just out of loop?
No, it might, because what was it? Wasn't it the end of... Yeah, the end of the first... I'm trying not to spoil anything, but the end of the first one, remember, it tied something in together with it.
Yeah, see, so...
It showed Thanos... Yeah. I think they might.
I'm not entirely sure, but...
And it's been, and if I remember right in the comics, I think they are going to that. If I'm thinking about it right, yeah. I don't want to get too much into it and like spoil anything.
Spoilers. Anyways, I cannot wait for.
But on the horizon. I wouldn't be surprised if they tie that around. Yeah.
Speaking of the horizon, isn't there that game.
Yes, yeah, we're going to be getting into that. But real quick, before we wrap up the movie part, what's not in that list, what I really want to start hearing about is it supposedly has been supposed to be coming for a couple years now, but I really want a new Friday the 13th movie, damn it.
Yes,
and supposedly, the last I was reading on it is that they finally are kind of gaining some ground on it, that I think that a script was finally written. I don't know, every time I get online to read about it, there's something else different. Who knows for sure what the hell is really going on with it. I think the last that's been heard is that it is going to be like another reboot, which I'm fine with.
Oh.
I did like the 2009 reboot, was really good. I kind of wish that they would have kept going off of that, but...
I am taking over the PlayStation this Friday, and I will admit it is not to play games, but it is to get on Netflix and see a series of unfortunate events. I am so excited to see how they did this, and I'm praying that they made justice for how terrible the movies were compared to the books.
Yeah, I've never read them or seen movies or TV shows or any of that, so I don't know anything about those.
Mm-hmm. They were incredible. They were like the first book that... Well, not first book, but the first series that I really enjoyed. I just could not put them down. As soon as I was done with one, I had to read the next, and it was... I'm excited. That's the main thing that I'm looking forward to this weekend. Is I cannot wait for the weekend to binge watch a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, and another movie, real quick. What I really want to start hearing about is Boondocks 3.
Yes,
Would be nice if we start hearing something about that. One of the last things I ever read about that was that I think Troy Duffy, I think is his name, the writer and director.
Yes.
I think he was pretty much just about wrapping up the script on it.
Yeah.
So
he didn't release the script or anything, but he was just about finished with it.
and one thing that has been said is that it's going to be called Boondocks 3 Legion, and that it's going to pick up right where the second one ended, with the brothers still in prison, and that the general public kind of starts taking up their vigilante mission, that they do, and hence the name Legion.
Which
So,
I
I don't
really
know.
wonder how they'll do it with the whole Daryl on Norman Reedus on Walking Dead. How is he going to get time in between?
Norman Reedus working with Hideo Kojima on the Death Stranding video game as well.
That's true. That
And
is true.
Norman Reedus also has a TV show.
Yes.
The Riding with Norman or whatever, that his
Mhm.
motorcycle TV show he has on TLC or whatever the hell.
And one other one I just realized that we never actually had the chance to see, but I expected bad reviews, was
Assassin's Creed, right?
Assassin's
Is that where you're
Creed.
going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I still want to see it,
We can't really say
but
anything
the
because
reviews
we
very
haven't
are
seen it.
discouraging.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
either.
Who
And-
who is shocked over it, really?
Yeah,
when was the last time there was a good video game movie?
And
Like,
that's one other thing I wanted to say real quick is playing the Uncharted games, not as much as you have, but watching the cinematic while playing along is just as good, and is probably going to be the best it'll ever be, because if they do try to turn Uncharted into a movie, I don't think they're going to do justice by the game of how good it was to be part of the action while you're playing it. You get through this mad fight, you get to the next puzzle, and then you get the cinematic scene where it makes playing the game more, I'm
Exactly.
okay if they don't
I'm-
make an Uncharted, because I don't think they would be able to do it justice the way they do itself in the game. Because, if you really are a diehard Uncharted, then you've just played all the games and you know cinematic because you played it. And that's what I like about storyboard games, is that you get to play along with it. And I promise I will finish Until Dawn soon, and then maybe restart it.
No, I'm glad that you brought that up, because when I first started hearing rumors, about an Uncharted movie, about a Last of Us movie, and we're not the only ones that's been thinking this, because I actually heard this on a podcast recently, but that's what they said, is like, I don't really, and I kind of agreed with them. I wish I could remember who it was, I would quote them on it, or give them credit for it, but I agree with them wholeheartedly, because they said, those games are so good and so cinematic, pretty much what you're just saying, that why do a movie, you know? Because there's never really been a good video game movie.
Exactly. If you just play the game, it's like you're in the movie.
Especially Uncharted 4. Yeah. Uncharted 4 was so good.
You're like the main character in the movie, and it has more depth playing the game and being like, oh man, I'm stuck at this part. I can't get past these spiders. How am I going to get past these spiders in Uncharted? And you finally get past them, and it's like, oh hey, I did it. Whereas the movie, it's just like...
It's like the same thing with books and movies, too, you know? Like, with books, it is what you imagine it to be, you know? And
exactly, which they... Oh, God.
But the thing is, though, there has been good movies based off books, though.
That's true. I mean, Harry Potter did amazing. And I think that is because J.K. Rowling worked with the producers and directors, and she was a part of it, whereas Lemony Snicket, a.k.a. writer for Series of Unfortunate Events, just kind of sold the script for quick bucks.
See, sometimes that happens. See, sometimes they license out their intellectual property,
and then they don't
to the studio or whatever, and that's it.
They get cut out of the rest of it.
But for the most part, they will work with them. They will. They care for the most part. Most times, the people care so much about their intellectual property, they will work with. Which is why
I hope that the author works with Netflix, and the previews I've seen for Series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix, I think it might do it justice, and I'm going to be really disappointed if it doesn't, but the previews I've seen, it's like running with scissors, how I finally just saw the movie to that after I read the book years ago, you know, and just, it brought back, I remember bits in the book that weren't in the movie, but they still did a good job, because that's a hard translation between book to movie, and it's just, you can't necessarily squeeze in all the details that there is in a book, but you always have to think of how it's going to portray in a movie. And I mean, that's kind of goes back to the superhero movies on how incredible they've turned comic books into movies, and even Walking Dead with the comics, they've been keeping pretty close to the comics.
But see, the difference though between like a comic or graphic novel compared to a regular novel is it's also visually storytelling as well, instead of just instead of just in text, you know.
Imagination of, here are these words, do what you will, imagine what your creativity is.
Yeah, obviously, since I spend most of my time, you know, with the video games and stuff, I knew that this was going to be a good year in video games, which we're going to be getting into right now. But I'm glad that we, you know, dove into this with the movies too, because this is going to be a very good year for the film industry too. It looks like we definitely got a lot of good movies coming out this year. Yeah, stay tuned to the channel for content on that coming up this year too. We'll also try to cover more in videos and stuff. But now we'll dive into some of the video games of last year and looking ahead into 2017. Real quick, 2016, some of our favorite games from last year real quick. Yeah. Obviously, Overwatch is the one that's been winning Game of the Year awards.
Yes, yeah,
everywhere.
It won a lot.
And it was a phenomenal game, but me personally, my Game of the Year would be Uncharted 4 for me, personally.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Overwatch didn't deserve it, because they did, but the way that they ended Uncharted, if you had played, like we were talking about, if you had played all 4 games, it was just so incredible to see that transformation of Nathan Drake from the first game to Nathan Drake of the last game, and everything that he's been through, and just that ending of Uncharted 4 was incredible. It gave me goosebumps. It was just like, oh my god, is this really happening?
It was awesome playing it too. It was intense.
I will admit, I loved how they put in Crash Bandicoot inside of a game. You're playing a game inside of a game. It's
yeah, that was great how they did that, how they worked that in. And it also kind of served as kind of a backdoor pilot, kind of backdoor way of announcing
that they're coming out with a new Crash. Yeah. Well, it's not new, but it's remastered.
It's a remastered
Crash
trilogy,
Bandicoot.
yeah.
I'm getting it, and I don't think it was the same studio. I could be wrong. Correct me if you know. But what if they were to do something like that with Spyro?
I'm trying to remember who made Spyro. It was either... I can't remember if it was actual Insomniac, or... I know it was like a Sony studio. I know it was a Sony-owned studio. It was such a long time ago. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I loved Spyro. I remember the Spyro games on. I think it was PS1.
Yeah, it was Insomniac. It was Insomniac that did Spyro.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved how the eggs, because you go through and do all the challenges in Spyro, but the eggs are like a hidden thing where you can just run off on your own, and it's a big thing to catch all the eggs and make them hatch. It's just really cool.
Yeah, Spyro, I think it'd be tight. I kind of wouldn't be surprised either. Okay, here's my thing. If this Crash thing takes off and does really well, and obviously, because back in the day, like around the PS1, there was a lot more platformers like that.
Mm-hmm. I love the platformers.
But they kind of have phased off a little bit. But they're kind of making a comeback. Look how good Ratchet and Clank, which we're going to be getting into right here real quick in a minute. Ratchet and Clank did phenomenally. So
I loved it.
I think platforms are going to start picking up more, and then hopefully we will see another Spyro. I think we will eventually one day.
I think it depends on how the Crash Bandicoot maybe does, but I really I don't play games as much as you do, but I really enjoy the platform games because it's just more my pace. Yeah. Whereas I have to really dive into a game for hours to get good at one, and if I don't get good at it, then I just get frustrated.
Yeah, Crash, Uncharted 4 and probably Crash are probably your favorite, tops this year.
I mean, out of the games that we've bought for me and the games that we've bought for you, the one I've played the most was the platform game. And I think
you have played a crap ton of Fallout 4, but
yes,
the most you played lately in a shorter time of owning it is by far Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. Which is
it's just my pace, but I really enjoy Fallout. I love Fallout.
Okay, see, and Fallout technically did come out last November, but we also didn't really get to play a lot of it until into this year. But so that one can't really be our game of the year this year. But easily my game of the year is Uncharted 4, but Overwatch would be very close. Yes. Doom would probably be the biggest surprise of the year for me.
And I honestly think that Doom would be a good surprise, but what I was going to say is I honestly think that once we do get into bigger space, I might be more towards playing more games, like create my own character, play my character in Destiny, my Warlock more, and other things like that, because not only will you have your space with the PC, monitors and everything, I'll have my own space to where, because I notice that's a lot of things is when I do want to play, you're playing, and then when I'm playing and you're just kind of watching me play
well, now that we have this, you can now, because now we have, I have, monitors, now we have it all separated more now, so.
But I think this year I will be playing a lot more games than I realized, just because there's a lot more that interests me this time around.
And it's also interesting because obviously my main game is Destiny, and I started playing that this year. Even though it came out a couple years ago, I started playing it this year.
This year, I will get into Life is Strange. I just want to have you watch the storyboard with me, so we'll see.
But so now looking up into 2017, the game that I am most stoked for this whole year that we know about so far, obviously for me, is Destiny 2. That goes without saying.
Has it been announced?
No, not officially, but Activision has said that it's on track for 2017, sometime this year. Bungie and Activision hasn't made it any secret. It's well known. They have said the whole studio is working on Destiny 2 right now.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been officially announced. It's pretty much a given. Most people in the community think so, and so do I, that it's going to be unveiled and officially announced and probably a trailer shown or something at E3. And then probably a September release. Bungie always releases their stuff in September, it seems like.
I think right up next to Crash Bandicoot being remade and re-released, the one game that I'm looking most excited for is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
That one looks incredible.
After Destiny 2, I am very stoked for Horizon Zero Dawn. And also, my hype level is rising very rapidly. Resident Evil 7 is coming out in 2 weeks, not quite 2 weeks, week and a half, something like that.
Do you know the initial release date of Horizon Zero Dawn?
It's February
28th.
February 28th. Yeah,
Last
right
day
before my
February.
birthday.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, that's true.
Like a few days before my birthday.
Oh my, 4 years goes by fast.
Yeah, I know. I cannot wait for Horizon either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I mean, obviously, Destiny 2 is obviously the main game I'm talking about and hyped for. But yeah, I mean, I talked about this in my video I made yesterday in yesterday's episode of Sports Nerd Web Weekly. There's so many good games coming out that I was talking about in yesterday's episode, and it was only just up to March.
Yeah.
There's Resident Evil 7, like I said, in a week to 2 weeks. There's Horizon at the end of February. There's
January
Mass Effect
24th
now is at the end of March. I think, if I remember right, Ghost Recon Wildlands should also be in March.
Yes, that's true. There was another one that I was excited for. I'm not seeing it here. It was another one you said that you think I would enjoy. We've seen previews for it at GameStop.
No, I can't think of what one it could
You know
be.
what one I'm thinking of, though, right?
No.
It's the one with the creature that kind of reminds you of the Neverending Story.
Oh,
And
the Last Guardian.
Yeah, that's it. The Lost Guardian.
Yeah.
That one I'm interested in.
With the cat bird dog.
Cat bird dog.
Or bird dog cat. Someone
like
calls
that.
me a cat bird dog.
That one I'm excited
Real
for.
quick, what I'll say about that game, though, from what I've heard from podcasts and reviews and stuff, that game, from what I've heard from everyone, it seems like it's quite an interesting game because, they say how epic it is. It's this epic adventure, but it's also like hair pulling out of your skull, frustrating at times too.
Which may not be a best game for me, but if all else fails, I'll play it, not play it.
I mean, from what I gather, what makes it frustrating at times is that the bird dog cat, I guess he doesn't have kind of like a traditional command system like dog meat.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what also makes it pretty innovative at the same time, is that you literally feel like you're on this epic adventure with this creature.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I think it would be an interesting game to try. For me personally, it would be one of those games I try way down the road when it's dirt cheap.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would try it just for the experience.
And it'll tell you how good of a game it is depending on the length of time it takes for it to go dirt cheap. Because you notice if a game's not that good, people sell it back to the game store immediately, and it's so much easier to get used. Because that's just the route we take. And I'm actually really excited to see you play some more PC games this year too, but it's
that's another thing. I mentioned in yesterday's episode. We finally did get a PC. So
and how quick did we start to see No Man's Sky used at GameStop so shortly after it came out?
Oh well, that's no secret. People were trying to get refunds hours after launch.
Yeah,
but I do need to dive into that and try that out. I haven't really played it since the update with the base building and stuff.
True.
So
I do really love.
I have heard that did make it a little bit funner, and it did bring back some players. I mean, this is kind of like an interesting time for games. I mean, what The Division did recently and what No Man's Sky has done, it's showing that the developers, if they listen to their community, pay attention to Twitch and Reddit and Twitter and all this, and just pay attention to the community. Yeah, you can learn from their mistakes, and then since that they are able to release patches and updates and downloads, they can fix their games. Like, look at what Massive did with The Division. Look how many players they brought back. Look how good The Division is now.
Well, I remember you telling me about the beginning of Destiny, whereas if you started playing Destiny since day one, and
you wouldn't even recognize it now, yeah.
Like, if you were to go back and
play year one,
it would be completely different, and that's what I really love about Bungie, is they listen to the audience. I think more so than any other developer. Bungie is so community minded, and I love it. I love Bungie for just their whole style and how they do that. They listen, and they don't listen to reply. They listen to improve.
Yeah, they'll listen to all the criticisms, and There's a lot of times I feel bad for Deej and Cosmo, the community managers of Bungie for Destiny. Yeah. I mean, they have to put up with... They hear a lot of awful things every single day, and they are still... Watch when Deej is on podcasts. Like, he's an awesome human being. Like, he is so nice, and like how he talks about stuff. Like, he is dope, and...
I can only imagine.
It's crazy that he's still that nice of a person, and he's still that open, and still loves the community and the game that much after hearing all the crap he hears day in and day out.
I can only imagine, only because I work in a call center. Some days are better than others, and sometimes there's really nothing you can do but say, hey, this is what it is. And, at least with Bungie, they have the opportunity to build from it and come back stronger than they were before. So that's what I really improve. I am impressed with him, because I can only imagine gamers are a whole different level than people calling in on the phone, especially when they're in the middle of a game.
Very true. Also, I can't believe I haven't really gotten into it. Well, I did mention it, kind of. But yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda. That one is also really high on my list as well for this year. Yeah, and like I said, those are awesome games that are just right there in the first few months of the year. Also, did you ever play Banjo-Kazooie at all on Nintendo 64? There was two of them. There was Banjo-Kazooie, and then I think like Banjo-Tooie, they called the second one. But anyways, the same studio, Rare, is back making this game called Yooka-Laylee.
Ooh.
We're talking about those cartoony platformers and stuff.
I don't
that
know what
game
it
right there
is.
will be right up your alley. That game.
They're just
I can't believe I haven't told you about this game yet, but we need to start looking at you.
They're just right at my level, because I know I'm a little airhead, blonde at heart some days, but it's just like my type of. I enjoy platformers more, and I think it's because you can choose the level of difficulty, and with some other ones where it's not, you don't get to choose the level of difficulty, you just learn to adapt to the difficulty. I have a harder time staying interested in, although when I was playing Assassin's Creed, I played that for like 2-3 weeks, that I actually got good until I quit playing, because unlike a lot of people, if I stop riding a bike, there's a good chance I'm going to forget. I'm just that big of an airhead. Well, some days.
Another style of games you like are kind of like the like Until Dawn and like those ones. There's a game like that coming out this year. This Detroit Become Human.
Ooh,
that's like a really cinematic game like that.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but one game I would really hope they do that to is Beyond, because I started playing it on PS3 but never finished it, and I loved the storyline that I had gotten on, and I was starting to get the hang of it, but out with the old and with the new.
Yeah, if I remember right, this Detroit, I think it's actually made by the same people. I'm
that could be
sure.
just as good.
So, but it's definitely a similar type.
Yeah, because that's one that, I mean, if I had all the money in the world, I'd go out and buy another PS3 just to play Beyond, and because I was really enjoying that one.
Real quick, before we wrap this up, I also have to say this. This was actually just recently announced, either earlier today or yesterday, but this Scalebound is actually canceled now. And this game actually looked pretty tight. It was like a multiplayer online game with dragons. You had your own personal dragon you can customize and fight with and stuff.
But there's Skyrim, you fight dragons in that.
No, the dragon is like your companion.
Ooh.
You fly with him and you fight with him and you can customize him. The game definitely looked dope, but it's not without its problems. Scalebound was delayed all the time. It was a mess, and it seems like it's finally and it was canceled.
One thing I want to say real quick is that you got to give a lot more credit to games that come out and improve on how good they are, because like movies and games and turning games into movies, it takes a lot more to build a game and make a game what it is than it does to make a movie. So you got to give them the credit there, and yeah.
All right, with that, we'll leave it there until next week. Actually, not even until next week, just a few days. So our next episode will be Sunday, our regular nights. So
yeah, we'll get back on track next week. It's been very hectic building it. Well, not building, but buying and finding room for PC and everything else. But we're back, and we're going to start doing our podcast every Sunday like we were before, so stay tuned. And
yeah, you can keep up to date with the channel. You can follow us on Twitter at SportsNerd48. Thank you for listening, and we will see you Sunday.
And out.